What's golden, y'all? It's Brian with the Better Late Than Never Monday live stream. I'm kind of doing something a little bit different this week because normally I will be coming on with the live stream with an assignment specifically for my connected communities. I wanted to try something a little bit different because I realize I talk a lot about the online communities. I don't necessarily tell you what it is. And so this week is going to be explaining what I'm building in real time. Um, and you guys are going to be on the ground floor. And I talked about it maybe, I think December-ish is the last time I actually spoke about what the plan was. But yeah, I wanted to jump on here and talk about it. So that's what the difference is today. If you want to get in on the assignment, stick around. We'll be talking about the assignment. If you're seeing this content and you want to get off the bench and start recording your own content, um, go ahead and give this a like, or you can subscribe to the channel. It helps me know and send the signal to me that people are actually interested in this kind of stuff. I really want to get as many people recording as possible, and I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. I think we overcomplicate the process because we're comparing ourselves to people that have been doing content creation at a high level for a long time, as opposed to starting where you currently are. And so, but if you like this kind of content, go ahead and give me a like or a subscribe. Okay. And so I'm doing a little bit different. I'm going to show you exactly where I am, what I'm building, and um, what's the best time to get in. Okay. So this is not a pitch or anything. This is more of a progress report. If you want to jump in with me, cool. I would love to have you along for the ride. But if not, your support, kind words, or anything else would help me out. Okay. But if you've been watching for a while, if you've been watching this for a while, I talk to business owners about getting on camera. Like that's kind of my whole gig. Today, I want to talk about what it actually looks like from the inside. All right. So where I am right now, we're still working on the physical studio space. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. I had to take some time off. I was dealing with a pretty nasty shoulder injury. And I realize more times than not when I take time off from the weight room, because I do be lifting them heavy things. When I take time off from the weight room, a lot of times I end up with weird nagging injuries. And so right now, the physical studio space, we're still working on getting that together. But we moved some stuff around. I'm going to be getting in there this week with my kids now that they're on spring break and be doing some things in there. Okay. And so the physical space is probably about a month or so off. And that space is going to be a video studio where not only do we record content for business owners and content creators, but I teach all the process of how to do it yourselves so you can get proficient at doing it yourself. It's going to be workshops, there's going to be community events. It's going to be a dual use kind of building, and I'll talk about the other use um, here once we get a little bit closer to reopening the space. Okay, but yeah, I do have a building. I have a brick and mortar. Um, the school community, as it stands right now, we have about 5 consistent members, and I really do want to grow that because what I really want to do is I want a space where you can come in and learn how to create your own content without somebody trying to upsell you or hook you in to expensive camera systems or audio equipment that you do not need and do not know how to use. Okay. And so that's really what that space is for, is to get people off the bench and get them recording with the tools that they have. And of course, I'm still going to make equipment recommendations, but um, I'm not necessarily I'm not going to say you have to buy this piece of equipment or brand new stuff comes out, and I'm not going to be dropping new videos every time something new drops or anything along those lines. More times than not, if you ain't got the money, I will tell you start with your phone. I don't need to upsell you on the latest thing from Insta360 or DJI or Sony or whatever. I'd rather you start with what you got. Um, I have a strong bias for small cameras. And like I got this camera. This is an Osmo Pocket 2. I got this used on keh.com. Got this for 17 bucks. Crazy value for a camera that shoots 4K. I mean, and this was my workhorse for a while. So you don't need to spend a ton on cameras to get started. And I think we actually do a disservice to people in this space when you act like you need a $1,700 camera to get started. $1,700 is what I'm looking to spend on a studio camera. Okay. If you're just starting out with content creation, you don't even need a mirrorless camera to get started with. It's nice to have, but you don't necessarily need something that has removable lenses or anything along those lines. And so that's what this space is to get you started with what you got. And as you start building out your kit, I can start teaching you aspects of how to maximize your kit. Okay. And so the YouTube channel has about 200, it's a little bit under 200 subscribers. I get people showing up consistently to the lives. And so that's what I'm building out. Um, I've done some presentations with the local chamber. That's something I'm working on, the Chamber of Commerce and stuff. And I got a couple of projects I'm working on there too. I'm in the building phase, y'all. And I think we don't give enough, we don't give enough props to people that are out there building things. We always rush to see the end result. And to me, the lesson is the people that are actually building stuff, because you can actually real time see the mistakes they make and the successes they have and the adjustments they got to make on the fly. And so, pronoun is definitely it. Okay. And so I think that's kind of where we're moving forward to. And so I want to show you what I'm building in real time. And I'll be honest with you. Here's the thing. The one thing I do have that a lot of the people that you'll see on YouTube don't. I actually have done real marketing for real businesses and I had real results. I actually do have a real recording studio that I'm going to be going. It's going to be my second one. And so I've done this before on a level that a lot of people that talk about it don't. The people that just sell you gear, a lot of times this isn't their main business is affiliate marketing. It's not doing actual work, video strategy for real businesses. And so that's the thing I'm bringing to the table. I'm not into, like I said, selling you into camera systems. Okay. But I'm in the building phase, and that's what it looks like. So you're watching someone figure this out in real time. And to me, that's the whole point of the thing. You're going to watch me build a video studio that services business clients. You're going to see me sit down and have strategy sessions to figure out, the best way to teach business owners how to start recording themselves. If you're in the media room, school community, you're going to learn how to maximize the tools you already have without having to, buy a bunch of extra gear and things along those lines. And so those are the pathways and lanes that I'm working on. Okay. And so what I learned from last week. So last week's lesson was kind of the grab and go kit. And the reason why I did the grab and go kit was because it was me. I had a shoot that I did not have a lot of time to prep for. I didn't have a lot of time to figure out what kit I was going to use. I just had to grab the camera, grab the light, and grab my little mic, my wireless mic kit, and get out the door. I didn't have time to bring my whole studio with me. I had to get out and get moving. And the shoot turned out all right. I'm editing the video, finishing up editing the video as we speak. But you're not always going to have time to set up and have this optimal setup for how you want to record. Sometimes you just got to get busy with what you got. Sometimes all you have is a window, a book, some books for you to set your camera up on, and that's all you got. And that's what you got to get started with. Okay. And I think, again, we try to optimize for situations that we don't encounter. I had to grab something and go. And so that's why the assignment last week was kind of figuring out what your grab and go kit was, and getting used to the concept of doing something that's good enough. I think we lose that often. We don't necessarily really embrace the concept of, hey, this is something that's good enough. All right. And oftentimes I think, specifically when it comes to posting on social media, we do fall victim to the mean comments, the people that their job is to sit online and critique everything that comes across their feed. They never really build anything on their own, but they just have they just put venom into anything else that they see somebody else working on. And that is a scary point for a lot of people. And that's why a lot of people don't want to get on social media and start making their own content. And I push back against that by saying I get mean comments all the time when I do these live streams. It's either, More times than not, it's just somebody who's bored, who's not interested in what I'm talking about, and decided to let me know about it, or a critic who has expertise that they never display online, but they're going to put it in the comment section. That is a normal part of being on social media. You can't let that be the deterrent. If you got a vision, or you got a unique perspective or anything, just get out there and put it out there. The mean comments are going to come. That's just how people are. And understand the fact that sometimes jealousy takes a lot of different forms. Some people wish that they were you, and wish they did have the mental fortitude to sit in front of a camera and put themselves out, potentially in front of billions of people at the same time. Sometimes, and so they will leave ugly comments under what you're doing or whatnot. And you never know. They could be going through something in their personal life, and this is just an off ramp where they can inject some nastiness into somebody else's day or whatever. It really doesn't matter, y'all. It is what it is. Okay. But yeah, anyway, last week was the grab and go kit. The shoot, I had to run. I had to get out the door, and so it was. I grabbed my Osmo Pocket, I grabbed my mic and a light, and I walked out the door. And I was saying to myself in the car, well, I hope this works. If this isn't enough, then I'm gonna have to improvise when I get on set, and that's how it goes. Most people are waiting for perfect before they start, and the grab and go kit is not your best kit, but it's the one that you always have available. Okay. I had a little bit more time this week, so instead of using my webcam, I'm using my Sony A6500. It's been my workhorse camera for almost 9 years, and now it's one of the better cameras I have in terms of my kit that I use to live stream on. But it's not the main camera I use. I normally will use a webcam, and the webcam, even nowadays, it costs 7, 8, 9 times less than you can get a Sony A6500 for, and it's easier setup. But I had a little bit more time, so I used my more expensive camera. That's not my optimal setup. If I need a grab and go kit, I'm not grabbing the Sony. The Sony requires a lot of other things to make it work. I have to bring out my good tripod. I have to do all this other stuff. I have to find I have to connect the mics and rig everything up. This is my more professional setup. When I just need to go out and record something, it's my Osmo Pocket and the DJI wireless mic minis. You can get those for like $70 online, and you're ready to rock and roll. Okay. So don't wait for perfect. And I want to know what's your grab and go kit. If you had to record something right now, what are you doing? What are you using? Leave that in the comments. Okay. That's what I want to know. Drop it in the chat right now. If you had to record and you had nothing else, what would you record with? You're limited to whatever you had within your living room or within reach of your house. What would you use? Okay, drop it in the chat. So let's talk about the media room. So the media room is not just a studio, it's an ecosystem. All right. And there's going to be kind of 3 layers here. The first layer is the school community. That's what I'm talking about right now. You're going to see online workshops and stuff that I'm going to be trying to get people to sign up for. It's really the DIY layer. Okay. That's, you want to get started and you need some guidance from somebody who knows what they're doing. That's what the media room is. It's going to kind of walk you through, and we'll walk together, but it is really the DIY layer. Okay. If you want to start recording, and you don't necessarily want, me to come out and sit down and teach you stuff like that, the media room is kind of where you go. Cause then I can answer questions, but, it's really more DIY stuff. Okay, that's the school community. And you learn for yourself, you get trained. I have classes in there, use what you got, and things along those lines. And then also, one thing I do offer, I just got done, I'm putting the finishing touches on building a studio for a local business. I can do that, if you have an office in your building, or you have, a home office and you want to make a recording studio, I can kind of walk you through that process, give you equipment list, tell you how to set up everything. And depending on what it is, even do some physical build outs for you. Okay. But yeah, that's really what it is. The physical space is going to be kind of a hybrid creator hangout studio. and yes, kind of a community space in the off hours when we're not recording for corporate clients and things along those lines. Um, it's near the Air Force Base is kind of an intentional thing because I know that sometimes there's not a lot to do, and so just having another community space that people could come and get value out of, I think that's going to be tremendously impactful. Um, I'm building this for people who know they need to show up, but keep finding reasons not to. That's what the media room's for. It's really to help you get not even get over the finish line. Sometimes you got to get over the starting line, right? And start running the race. It's really meant to get you in the race. Okay. And so um that's really what I'm doing. And so if you're interested in that, go ahead and give me a like and subscribe. I'm figuring out if I need to take this to TikTok to grow a little bit faster because the engagement on TikTok's a little bit better. Um, it's not as yeah, it's a little bit stronger, even though it's a broader audience. It's a little bit stronger, but by hook or by crook, I'm going to get people in this community because I think there's some value in there. Like I said, I've spent a lot of time building out lessons and things along those lines to get people started recording. Okay. But if I need to take it to TikTok, then a lot of the live stream content might end up over there, and you guys might get clips on YouTube and wherever else. Okay. But I'm figuring out where I need to be in terms of the live streams every single week. This week's assignment. So before I actually give you the formal invitation to join the Media Room School community, I want to give you something else to do this week. Give you an assignment to get you a little bit closer to pressing record. Okay. And it's for everyone watching. It's not just for my paid community. Okay. This is a 1-minute test. Okay. I want you to pick up whatever camera you have right now, and your phone does count. Probably as your most versatile, useful phone camera that you can get is your phone. Okay. Um, I want you to hit record and talk for 60 seconds about something you know. It could be anything. It could be quite literally anything. Don't edit it. Don't watch it back. Just record it and stop. And that's the whole assignment. Okay. Post it wherever you feel comfortable. If you're watching this in one of my communities or on my page, you can even post it or inbox it to me. All right. But I just want you to record, get used to the concept of talking about something you know for 60 seconds. Okay. That's the whole assignment. You can put in the community, YouTube, on your own page, wherever. If you're not ready to post it publicly, just do the recording and tell us that you did it. Leave a comment saying I did it. That's the whole point of yeah, that's the whole point of it. Um, the point isn't necessarily the video. The point is proving to yourself that you can hit record um, and record without even being perfect. That's really what the point is. Okay. So what is the one thing that's stopping you from hitting record right now? That's the question I want to leave you for this week. Um, and yeah, I'm keeping it short and sweet. I want to get you guys rolling. But please, the pitch is join the school community because that's where I really focus on teaching um, people how to get started recording. And so, um, I can, and I'm thinking as people start coming on, um, I'm going to set out studio time or office hours where we can do live setup audits. I'm going to review, I'm thinking we're going to review 5 people current setups inside the community. Tell me what you're working with, and I'll tell you how to get the most out of it. Okay. And the way that you get involved is by joining the community. It's at school.com/the media room, and post your setup before this Friday. All right. And so this is the kind of thing that happens in the community. When the community's small, once it grows, I can't do this for everybody, but for 5 people, the next 5 people that want to sign up, I will do an informal audit of your equipment and your social media presence and tell you how to get the most out of it. Okay. And if you're not sure where to start, there's a studio audit at the media room website. I'll post that link in the comments so that you can get started with that. All right. So that's what I'm getting. I'm building this in public, and you're watching this happen in real time. And the people who get in now are going to be the ones who get a chance to say they were there from the beginning and get the full benefit of the build out, and they get to drive a lot of the direction that we're taking with this. Okay. So this week's assignment is the 1 minute test. Pick up your phone, hit record, talk for 60 seconds, and that's it. You can tell me how you did in the comments. You don't even have to post it unless you feel comfortable. Okay. All right. And so I'm gonna go ahead, the school community and the media room, you're gonna see the links for those in the comments. I'll see you guys in there. If you're interested in working with me in real life, I do have my website where I have all my services laid out and a couple of free tools for you to use so that you can get started recording yourselves. All right. That's all I got, y'all. Like I said, I'm trying to keep it short and sweet. Not planning on being on here all day. So that is the first comment you're going to see is for the media room. And the second one you're going to see is for my website. And yeah, my goal is to get everybody recording. That's all. That's really where my energy is going. And so I'll drop the link to my audit here. And like I said, man, y'all can't sweat the trolls, bro. Y'all can't sweat the nasty negative comments that come in. You don't have any control over that. So do like I do. Just they're part of the game, bro. So anyway, I will talk to y'all later. Be easy. Peace.